So hey everyone, and welcome to the latest series from azdrone.net. My name is Rich Charpentier, and I'm going to come along with you through this series. So, post part 107, you've passed your 107 test. You're a commercial drone operator now. Awesome, congratulations. Are you ready to start building your drone business? I hope you are. I was really enthused starting my drone business over 3 years ago now after taking the Part 107. I'd actually been flying drones since 2014, but as guidance wasn't as clear back in 2014 as to what you could or couldn't do, I actually shelved my drone for a couple of years and started flying again in 2017 after a friend convinced me to check out the 107 test and get into commercial drone work. So we're going to talk about the next steps after you've passed your test. What are you going to do? I haven't found too much on YouTube. There are a lot of classes out there on how to make money with your drone, but the bigger part is how do you build a lasting business around your drone operations. So that's going to be something we're talking about through the course of this series. So this is the introductory slideshow. I hope you enjoy it as you follow along with it. This particular lecture and the next one are both going to have long slideshows, and then we're going to start getting into some very specific items to help you on your way building your small drone business. So the easy part is over. You passed the Part 107 test, and maybe for some it wasn't too easy, but nonetheless, you've passed it, you've gotten here, and now you're ready to start doing drone operations for pay. So you're a commercial drone operator now, and you want to start building a business. I get a lot of questions from my YouTube subscribers, my patrons, and also the folks on my Udemy classes as well about getting their business going. There's a lot to do. So where do you start? You passed the 107, you've probably got a drone. Should you buy a new computer? You want to build a studio so that you can do YouTube videos and tutorials like this? Who knows? You're just at the start of this journey, and we're going to help you avoid some of the mistakes and major pitfalls that we've run across over the course of building azdrone.net. So keep in mind, you're just at the beginning. There's no need to rush, okay? So first, let's dial back. Let's not rush into anything, because that could be very costly. Like any other small business, it's going to take some time to start growing. This is not an instant thing. So if you put up a website and start offering services a month ago and you're disappointed because you haven't heard from anyone yet, don't be too surprised. It takes a while to get your brand out there and to get the attention of potential clients. So I've been working on my drone operations business for over 3 consecutive years now, even though I was flying drones earlier. And we're really finally seeing the fruits of our labor over the past year. So it's taken some business building, and that's not a small thing. A slow start isn't bad either. With hard work and a goal in mind, and I really do mean it, I know it sounds so cliche, but you're going to be putting some effort into this. But you can get your business out there and off the ground. It's still going to take a bit of time. So you probably have a lot of questions now that you've passed your Part 107. Where do I start? How do I start marketing? Who should I be talking to? We're going to be talking about some of these things. From conversations with subscribers on my YouTube channel, students from Udemy, and the folks over on my Patreon channel, I've read a lot of new drone operators' concerns and questions, and we're going to answer some of those through this seminar series. We're going to talk about hardware. We're going to talk about software, video and photo editing, services that other drone operations provide, market niches, and more. So maybe you can find that specialized area that only a few people are doing, and then you can dominate that market. And of course, we're going to talk about outreach to clients as well, pricing, because everybody is always asking about pricing. You're going to look forward to that in later lessons. That's not an immediate thing that we're going to be talking about. Because first, we need to lay the groundwork for your drone business. And we'll talk about opportunities to expand your drone business as well. So here's what we're not going to be covering, because we can't cover everything. So I'm formerly a network engineer. I've been doing photography and website design since the mid-2000s, running my own small business ever since 2008. And that first small business didn't do so well, so we transitioned into my new and current business, and that's been going a lot better. So I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, so how to set up your corporation or if you should just be a sole proprietor, I don't have any advice on that whatsoever. So don't expect any of that in this series. My accountant actually helped me set up my corporate structure back in 2012, and she helped me out with all the required submissions to both state and federal as well. So this is going to be something you're going to have to do some research on wherever you live, because I'm sure laws and rules are different. So how you incorporate is going to be up to you and a professional service provider that helps you out. So we're here to help people out with aerial imagery, not with accounting. So go ahead and find a tax professional or a legal professional that can help you on that side of the business. We're going to talk about actually executing the business, the services we offer. We're going to show some of those services that we can offer, and we'll work through them together. So here's what we're going to be covering here. We're going to talk about drones. We're going to talk about different types of drones, different applications for drone usage, and using drones as a core part of your business. Now, of course, just because you have a drone and you fly a location doesn't mean you're done. There's other equipment and other considerations that you have to be aware of, and we're going to talk about those through this series. We're going to talk about third-party apps as well and what they can do for your drone flights as well. Also, we're going to get into photo editing, we're going to get into video editing, we're going to get into modeling applications, capture applications, GIS applications, and more is going to be covered in this series. We're going to be going over the basics, but we're also going to be creating some other structured courses outside of this lecture series to help you along. So we will be doing a new photo management and photo editing series with Lightroom and Photoshop, and we'll talk about that later on as we get into those topics. Additionally, we're going to take other topics from this overall series and we'll be pointing you to other tutorials that cover those particular items. All right. We're also going to talk about the basics for starting your business. What's kind of the minimum amount of equipment that you need to really get your drone business going? And we're going to talk about the things that you don't need. You don't need to run out and spend a ton of money on applications that you've never had anyone ask you to utilize before. So we're going to talk about items that might be too pricey and they might be too early given where you're at in your evolution in your drone business. Also, we're going to talk about other professional services and things you might have overlooked when you sat down and thought about starting your drone business. All right, so to put it simply, this is going to take a little time to build the business, and we're going to walk through that. You're probably going to need some new skills. You're going to want to spend money on things that you're going to end up spending money on things you don't want to. And you're going to work on things that you might not be so familiar with. Just because you're an excellent drone pilot, are you a great photographer? Are you a great videographer? Are you good at editing and doing post-production on video and still photography? Do you know a lot about GIS systems? Do you know a lot about geodata? All of these things are going to come up. So there's probably areas that are going to be very interesting to you. And probably in your drone business, there's going to be some things that are extremely tedious and you decide not to include as a business offering. Also, finally, having the most expensive drone and using the most expensive software and equipment is not necessary. Some of the smaller, easier to use drones are actually very powerful drones as well that can produce results that will work out great in your business. So don't run out and buy an Inspire 2 tomorrow, and you don't have to overspend on multiple cameras and adapters or anything. Let's take this slow before you start going crazy on overspending. We're going to talk about all that together. So there we go. That's our brief intro on the start of this series. In the next video, we're going to talk about a very basic drone business model, working with realtors and flying for real estate. And we're going to talk about the minimum requirements, the hardware and software that you'll probably need if you're going to go down the road of working with realtors and doing real estate drone flights.